trying to figure out who I wanted to bring here, I realized that the magic that you guys have is already in the room. Just being able to rub elbows with other people, network with them, and being able to see what's possible, and it breaks self-doubt and self-belief. So I just want to thank you guys for putting this together. My question is, do you think you would be where you are without the hard times? And how important is the hardships in business? And how important is it to push through those difficult times?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so look, dude, the hard times are significantly at a multiple of 100 more important than the good times, okay? Because here's what you have to understand. Most of you guys go through and you hate the difficult times. You're frustrated during the difficult times. What you have to understand, and when you're in it long enough, you'll understand this, is that all the hard shit that you go through is actually the things that give you the skills that you need to actually get where you want to go. This is just how it is. And so if you don't learn any lessons, how can you have any skills? If you don't go through any hard times, how can you have any skills? And if you don't go through any hard times and learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn through the hard times, you're going to continue to repeat those hard times throughout the course of your life over and over and over again. So the way that you have to look at the hard time is, all right, look, this sucks. It's really hard. But here's what I'm learning. I'm learning this, I'm learning this, I'm learning this. Okay, and when you learn these things, these skills, whatever, and by the way, they're going to be different skills every single time. Okay, when you learn these skills, you become better equipped to address that same situation, which will happen over and over and over again in life, at a more productive way. So, like when the house is on fire the first time, you're like, holy shit, what do I do? You know, and you're running around like crazy, and you have all this anxiety and all this fear and all this frustration. Well, when the house catches fire a second time, you know exactly to go get the fire extinguisher. It's right over there, and you walk over here and you calmly put the fire out. And that's how it works throughout your life. So I personally think that so many people make the hard times harder than they have to be because they're trying to avoid the hard times. This is like when someone says, oh, I'm full of anxiety, and they're trying to get through the day avoiding all anxiety. Well, look, dude, having anxiety is part of your fucking day, and if you go through it trying to get through an entire day without experiencing any anxiety, what ends up happening is you're like, every time a little bit comes your way, you're like, fuck, I can't even get through a single day without any anxiety. This is bullshit. The world hates me. God hates me. I'm fucking this, and you spiral down, okay? So you have to understand that the hard times are going to be there. The frustrating times are going to be there. And not only are they going to be there, I hate to break it to you for anybody that might not understand this, it's going to be most of the time in this game. Okay? It'd be far easier for you to go get a real job, right? And go work for someone else and go do some other shit. And you know, you probably have some peace, a little more peace, but your problems would be different then. You would have just different problems. So the reality is we have to stop as people thinking that this is easy. That these people that spout this idealistic bullshit on the internet hurt culture more than anybody. Okay, you got all these spiritual fuckers online that are trying to like tell everybody it's supposed to be easy and you're supposed to be happy and you're supposed to feel good and you're supposed to be fulfilled. I don't know about you all, but that time is a little limited for me. Okay, most of the time I'm dealing with bullshit. All right, that's reality. So we have to understand that, like, in the path that we chose, which is a very important path, and the reason it's important is because if we don't do what we do, all right, I want you to look at this room, dude. Look around. Look at all these people. All these people that are here, every single fucking one of them is here because he won, and I'm winning. They're here because of that. Now, what would the room look if all you motherfuckers were winning like that? What would it look like?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think the two things that I would add to that are, A, when you're losing, what's it mean to you? I said this earlier. It's not the event, it's what does it mean? So if it means you suck, right? If it means you're destined to lose, and you keep repeating that meaning to yourself, then there's no service in it. If it means you're acquiring information, if it means this is part of the deal, if it means it's gonna be a killer story someday when you win, if it means your calling's huge and so the failures are huge, if it means that, if you can attach a meaning to it that serves you, hearing that both of us have failed all these times, hey, I'm just like them, then that's good. If you attach the wrong meaning to it, that's when it eventually buries you, right? Secondly, here's the great thing that isn't talked about in entrepreneurship enough, competition. You gotta compete. The great distraction to negative times is competing, right? Every other area of life we compete. You gotta be competing all the time. And then when you're failing, you're competing. But when you're not competing, and I'm not talking about just against your competition, but that's part of it, but you're competing against the former you. You're competing against your capacity. Competing is the great distractor of all the other crap. If you're in the competition mode, you all know what I'm talking about with this, right? So when I get into those modes, I'm like, I'm gonna dig deep, I'm competing, I'm gonna be the greatest of all time. This is gonna be part of the freaking story. I'm after it. If you're not competing, man, you take the absence of competing with failure, you're in big trouble. But if you have a competition in your company, if you have a competitive environment in your life, that's why 75 hard matters. That's why training matters. It's a form of competing. If you're always in that competing mode, right? I think I'll probably be competing to some extent till the very last day, because it's the one thing that kind of inoculates complete failure from me. And same with the people that work for you. If you've got them competing on a regular basis, it's a really great distraction from how crappy their current circumstances are. So if it works with other people, it works with you. So it's the meaning that you take, and man, compete and instill a culture of competition in your life and in your company. That is a huge topic not covered very often in life and in entrepreneurship. That's why athletes are so happy when they're in their sport and why they get so miserable when it's over. They lost the competition. They had the same problems when they were an athlete. They still fought with their wife when they were an athlete. They still had money issues when they were an athlete. They still had worry and anxiety when they were an athlete, but they were competing. And then they lose that and they don't find another place to compete. They don't find another place to get competitive. So competing and competition is a huge element to protecting yourself from the negative parts of failing all the time.